Stop the guilt. Welcome to the Hopefulist with me, Wendy McClure. A Hopefulist is the woman who takes control of her life to feel vibrant, alive, and passionate. I help uncover the limiting beliefs that have held women back for so long so you can step into your true, authentic self and live the life that is truly meant for you. Because you matter. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you being here, and I want to congratulate you for being here, for delving into these limiting beliefs that are indeed holding us all back from living the very best life that we can. So kudos for you for taking the time and doing the work and exploring how you can make your life better. Wanted to start out with two quotes of the day today, since we are talking about guilt. The first one very short, but I thought very appropriate. Only good people feel guilt. That is the first quote. The second quote is, guilt is the worst enemy of true happiness and self-esteem. It is indeed the worst thing you can ever do to your soul. You cannot shame yourself to success. It is not possible. And I know that you think that it is. I know that you've been in situations where you're, say, trying to lose weight and you slip up, you have the brownie, you have the cupcake, and you berate yourself to the point that the next time you are faced with a cupcake or a brownie, you remind yourself of what happened the last time. And you say to yourself, you don't want to feel that way again, do you? Sometimes it works. But overall, in the long run, it is not what is going to sustain you to a successful, happy life. It's the same thing with exercising and working out. Bashing yourself and berating yourself for not doing it is not going to help you want to do it. You have to find the reasons that are holding you back and delve into them and figure out what it is that is stopping you. And it's so much more than laziness. It's so much more than, I just don't feel like it. You know, we've all had those times, a lot of times in the beginning of the year where we're gung-ho and we're going to be like, yeah, this is the year. I'm going to start this new workout regime and I'm going to stick to it. And, you know, you're all excited at first and you keep to it for the first week and the second week. And then the third week, you start to, come up with these excuses and you start to feel like you just don't want to do it anymore. And it's more than just the feeling of not wanting to do it. First of all, it is your brain, literally your brain, trying to talk you out of it because your brain is wired for survival. That is it. Your brain is not worried about you becoming a better person. It's not worried about you becoming a happier person. It's worried about keeping you alive. And the way that it keeps you alive is by being able to anticipate what is going to happen. And it doesn't know how to anticipate anything new that is thrown at you or that you decide to take on. This is why change is so difficult. You have so much working against you, including your own brain. Your brain wants everything to be exactly as it always is because that's how it knows exactly how to protect you. So don't think that the reason you haven't kept up with things yourself in the past is because you're this lame, lazy fraud of a person. There are so many things that are going on in your outside world and your inside world that pertain to this. Now, I'm not saying this as an excuse. I'm not saying that you're off the hook completely, because you are in charge of you and you are in charge of your brain. And you have to be the one to overcome these obstacles to make real change in your life. Now, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I have been on this quest to help women live better lives. As the new intro points out, you know, I've taken a couple of different turns as time has gone on. And, you know, I want to encourage women to take control of their lives in order to be the happiest and most fulfilled that they can be. And we are coming up on 4 years now that I've been doing this podcast, and it has not gone as I have wanted it to for 4 years. I have my true loyal fans, and man, I love you guys. You guys are the best. I see you. I know who you are, and I am eternally grateful. And I hope that you're getting something out of this. I imagine you are, which is why you keep coming back for more. Tell your friends, though, by the way. That would be a huge help to me. But I have really had set high expectations for myself this year. This year I was kind of like, okay, it's time. It's either go full on, balls to the wall, we're going to make this work, or I'm going to crash and burn, and it's just going to be time to throw in the towel. Because 4 years is a long freaking time. And there are a lot of things that I could be doing that I'm just not. And it's not that I'm lazy. It's not that I'm just an unproductive person. It's that I've got a lot going on. I've got a lot that I'm dealing with on a regular basis. And I listen to Brendan Burchard typically almost every day. He has an app called Growth Day. If you're interested in that, reach out to me, look it up in the App Store. I highly recommend it. I love it. He has every day what he calls his daily fire. And it's just a little snippet of inspiration every single day. It can be anywhere from like 5 minutes to like 20 minutes. That's the typical range. Every once in a while, he'll throw in, you know, a lesson or something that could be up to like, 45, 50 minutes. But I was listening to him the other day because this has been my big thing when it comes to the podcast and the business, the Hopefulist, is I just am not as productive as I think I should be and as I would like to be. And I was listening to him the other day, and he was talking about how when you have a dream and there's something that you're going after, it takes a huge amount of mental capacity to do that and to keep up with it. And if you have other things that are stealing your time, stealing your attention, be it a job, be it your family, be it the current state of affairs in the country, all kinds of things that is demanding your attention, it's taking it away from the thing that you are trying to do. And that is not something that is unreasonable. So he is a huge proponent of journaling. He's always like, if you've got a lot of stuff going on and you want to dedicate a certain amount of time to this, or this, you need to journal your feelings. You need to get them out. And that kind of is behind the idea of these morning pages. I've talked to you about this before. I have read a book called The Artist's Way, and in it she says that every day, first thing in the morning, you write out, freestyle, handwrite, 3 pages of your thoughts, 3 full pages. And I'm going to tell you, 3 pages is a lot. You know, this is my journal right here. If you're seeing on camera, I have tiny little handwriting. Sometimes I just want to make it bigger to get through these 3 pages. I often don't get to 3 pages. I often will stop after about a page and a half, sometimes just a half a page. I always figure it's better to write some than none at all, right? So this is a way to vent, so to speak, to get your concerns and what's happening in your subconscious mind out of your subconscious, out onto paper. And that way you can deal with them somewhat, come up with solutions, or just get it out. And that will free up the space in your subconscious where all of that was just lingering and open you up to doing whatever else it is that you need to do throughout the day. So, when we're talking about guilt, being made to feel guilty, guilting yourself, often we feel guilty when we don't do what we say we are going to do. And that is one of the first lines that I write every day when I start out my morning pages, my 3 pages, is I will do what I say and start what I finish. Because I don't have a good track record with that. So that's something that I need to get into my head. It's an affirmation that I will do what I say I'm going to do. And I will make it work. And I'm going to finish it. So, often when we don't get to do everything we would like to do in a day, we feel guilty. We feel like a fraud. And this stems from the limiting belief that we have to do it all. That women can do it all and should do it all. And here is the actual truth. We can't do it all. We just can't. We can't be a housewife, a mother, a full-time employee, and pursuing our dreams all at the same time. It cannot be done. If you would like to sleep, maybe if you give up sleep, maybe it can be done. But, we, meaning Gen Xers, grew up in a time where we saw our mothers going to work and still having to do everything at home. I saw a video just the other day about how our parents, the Gen Xers' parents, the fathers were really the ones that had it all. They merely had to go to work, hold down a job. Because when their wife started to go back to work, they really weren't expected to pick up any slack. Okay, fine, you want to go to work? Go to work. But you better keep up with the laundry and have dinner on the table when I get home and take care of the kids. And they did all that because they wanted to work. And this was the only way that they could do it, was to do all of it. So, I can't speak for everybody's family, but I can look back after seeing that video and say, you know what? She's absolutely right. All my father did have to do is work and mow the lawn. That's really it. He never did laundry. He rarely cooked. And he certainly didn't clean up. He didn't do any cleaning in the house. So, those were the times to be a man. But times have changed. And we know now that even these women who did supposedly do it all, they were not happy. They were not happy because they were so overwhelmed, they were so stressed out, and they were probably so hard on themselves for not being able to get it all done, because it's not possible to get it all done. You have to have certain priorities at certain points in your life. When your kids are little, they have to be your priority. If you're working at the same time, that has to take some priority as well. So what falls to the wayside? You order a lot of takeout. You hire a cleaning lady. You take your laundry and drop it off to be done somewhere. You can't do it all. You can't do it all properly. That's for sure. So when you are sitting down at night and you're looking at all the things, your to-do list that you wanted to get done, and you see that you did maybe 2 of them out of the 18, that's when you start to feel bad about yourself. You start to feel guilty. You start to feel like you're not keeping up with your affirmation at the beginning of the day that I will do what I say and finish what I start. But the problem is, and this is where the limiting belief comes in, is that you think you can do it all, and you can't. So, 1, you have to adjust realistic expectations. I think that having a priority of 3 things is reasonable. And you have to keep in mind everything that you have to do during the day. If you are a spouse, a mother, and a working girl, then you have to take all of that into account when putting down what it is you want to accomplish that day. Are you having to make the kids lunches? Are you having to get them up and get them breakfast? That counts. That counts as a to-do. I used to think that something that we did every day didn't count as something that should be on a to-do list because that's just expected. That's something that needs to be done. That's right. It needs to be done. So it has to be counted. I've completely changed my point of view around that. It has to be done, so it has to be counted as something on the to-do list. So if you have a big project at work, make sure that you don't have to come home and make dinner, or make sure that you don't have to go get the kids from practice or go watch a game, and vice versa. If you have to go watch, or you want to, let's say, not have to, want to go watch one of your kids play one of their games or be there for a concert that they are in, make sure that you don't have a lot of other demands on your time for that day, be it work projects, be it getting dinner ready, doing laundry, cleaning, what have you. I think that 3 priorities for the day is reasonable. And if part of your everyday is getting the kids up and getting them breakfast, that counts. Now, when I was a kid, we got ourselves up and got our own breakfast. So if you're in that situation, that does not count. So you have 3 things left that you can do. But if you have to come home and make dinner that night and then clean up, that counts as a to-do. So that means you have 2 things left, potentially 1 thing left, because if you've got to clean up 2, that's 2 things. But let's just, for the sake of argument and productivity, loop them in together. So then you have 2 major things left that you can do for that day. Be it something that is going on at work, or something else that has to do with the kids. Maybe it's a date night with your spouse, whatever. We have to adjust our expectations. We cannot do it all, and we have to stop trying to convince ourselves that we can. What are some of the other things that make us feel guilt and guilty when it comes to life? Well, sometimes we've just done something wrong. Sometimes we're human and we make mistakes. The limiting belief is that because we've done something bad, that means that we are bad. And that is not true, because all humans make mistakes. So if you did something that you're not proud of, that means that you are a good person who did something bad. And that's why I threw in that one quote in the beginning. Only good people feel guilt. Somebody who's a jerk is not going to feel guilty for doing something wrong because they don't care. But you do. So sometimes we lash out, we snap at people because we're in a mood, because we have 5 million things to do at home. Sometimes that happens. And it happens. There's no reason to sit there and berate yourself and make yourself feel like you're a terrible person because you snapped at Sally at the office. You know, just having to deal with Sally every day is a mission on itself. So you snapped at Sally. Okay, you try to make amends. I'm sorry, Sally. I was having a moment. I didn't mean to lash out at you. I'm sorry I snapped. Happens. It happens. We make mistakes. Sometimes we do things just to make ourselves feel better in the moment. And that is typically when we are working from survival mode. And survival mode is when we have so much going on and there is so much for us to do that we're so overwhelmed and stressed out. We don't know how we're going to do it all. So we just kind of freak out. You know, it just gets to the point where that one final request is the one thing that is going to push you over the edge. And you are just trying to hold on. It's survival mode. So keep that in mind and give yourself a little bit of a break if this stuff happens. Because it will happen. Because we are all human. Now, when it comes to other people making you feel guilty, other people expressing to you that you've disappointed them. Yeah, I know all about this one. The limiting belief is that you are responsible for how others feel. The limiting belief is that you are responsible for other people's reactions and emotions. And I'm here to tell you, no, you are not. No, you are not. If somebody asks you to do something and you just can't do it, you have a work project due, the kids have something going on, and your friend makes you feel guilty. Well, I was really counting on you to go to this concert with me. Well, I'm so sorry, Sally. It's just nothing I can do right now. I wish I could go, but I can't. Now, Sally's disappointment is her problem. And shame on her for making you, or attempting to make you, feel bad. We have to do the things that we have to do. And the last thing you need is a so-called friend or family member making you feel bad for not being able to do something that they want you to do. Now, keep that in mind. Maybe that'll help, frame it for you better. They're making you feel guilty for not doing something that they want you to do. Right then and there in itself, you can see how selfish that is. Our parents are very good at making us feel guilty. We don't spend enough time with them. We don't call them enough. We don't treat them the way that they think that they should be treated. If they are feeling that way and they discuss it with you in a calm, reasonable manner, then maybe there is some kind of compromise. But if you have a parent that's just making you feel bad, just guilt-tripping you, that is not healthy. And that is not a resolution to the problem. Because I had a mother who did that, And all it made me want to do is spend less time with her. Because why would I want to spend time with somebody who makes me feel guilty all the time? So these are situations that take a calm, rational discussion. And you need to be your own advocate. You need to be the one to say, you are attempting to make me feel guilty because of this, this, and this. And that's not right, and that's not fair. And if you keep doing that, this is what's likely going to happen, is I'm going to have even more distance from you because I don't want to be made to feel that way. And that's perfectly reasonable. There's nothing wrong with saying that and advocating for yourself. It's really the only sane thing to do. But as Gen Xers, we were brought up to not talk about our feelings, about the elephant in the room. I mean, we were basically taught to just bury our heads in the sand. And what did that do for our parents' generation? Did it make them happy? I don't think so. So we may be doing things differently than our parents did because we're trying to live better lives than our parents did. And the way that we do this is to delve into these limiting beliefs. Like Gen X doesn't talk about their problems. Gen X doesn't talk about how they feel. And realize that you can and you should. Because you need to be the one to take control of your life and to do the things that will bring you the passion and the aliveness and the joy and the vibrancy of the life that you want to lead. And it's not simple and it's not easy, but this is how you begin the process. Start stripping down those limiting beliefs, the things that we have been told and taught our entire lives that are just absolutely not true. And if you delve into it just a little bit, you realize why. If we did everything exactly as our parents did, do you want to have the life that your parents had? Do you feel that they were happy? That they had the best of the life that they were hoping to have? Because I think that the majority of us would say no to that question. That they are not living, we're not living the life that we strive to live for. We want to live better lives. We want to feel more. We want to be more. We want to do more. And this is how we go about doing it. So, if you like today's episode, if any of this resonated with you, please let me know. I love to hear feedback. Check out my website, hopefulist.com, and please share this information with a friend. You can copy the link, send it right to your friend. You can share a social media post of mine to help spread the word. And I would really appreciate it if you would do that. So I'm going to start ramping up the music to the new outro that I have, but I'm not exactly sure of the timing yet. So give me a little grace here. I'm going to try and time it out. I hope you are badass this week. I'm always here cheering you on. Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist. Please visit my website at hopefulist.com. And always remember, you matter.